Hey guys, welcome to Wednesday, March 9th's Morning Brew. I really hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's new format. I really enjoyed it as well. But either way, let's hop into it. The NASDAQ is down 0.28. The S&P is down 0.72. The Dow is down 0.56. The 10-year is up 7.6. Bitcoin is up 1.5. And Chevron is up 5.24. This article is titled "The U.S. to Russian Energy." So it looks like the U.S. is banning imports of Russian oil, natural gas, and other energy sources due to the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. And it seems like the U.S. is going to be like the first of the major countries to start saying like, hey, this isn't going to go without consequence. It does state here that Russia is the third biggest oil producer in the world behind the US and Saudi Arabia. So it's going to have a bit of an impact if we basically ban imports of Russian oil and stuff. It's basically cutting them off from sending anything our way. It's probably going to be a major hit to their overall economy. In ways that it's going to affect us here in the United States is, as I stated yesterday, less oil supply here means higher oil prices overall, which means higher gas prices overall. The average price per gallon is up 55 cents in a week, and now it's $4.17. And it's looking like it's probably going to go up even higher, which is not necessarily a good thing that's happening. But then you have to put in perspective that we are not the ones at war, and we are not the ones under threat of being taken over right now. And after putting that in my head, I was like, okay, us paying slightly more for gas at the cost of telling basically a whole other country that they can't act a certain way is pretty all right. Although I don't drive very much at all. I only have to fill up maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm not the one this mainly impacts. So if this is hitting you hard, let me know in the comments and let me know your thoughts on that one. As I stated earlier, it seems like the U.S. is going to be the first one to kind of get the ball rolling. Europe didn't immediately join the U.S. in this decision, but apparently the U.K. basically said they're going to start walking away slowly, and then by the end of the year, they're going to have everything kind of cut off like we do now. And the EU said the same thing, said that it will shrink the Russian gas imports by 2/3 over the same time frame as the UK. So not a complete cutoff, but 2/3 cutoff. So referencing the EU and UK's kind of slow-paced approach to this versus our fast-paced, cut off everything, there's a reason for it, and it's mainly because Russia only accounted for about 3% of the U.S. oil imports, so 3% is still quite a bit for the U.S., but compare that to the EU at 25%, it's a little bit more of a big deal. From what I said yesterday, too, think about the neon that Ukraine supplies, 90% of that being cut off to the U.S. now. It's like that, where if a giant chunk of something is just cut off, it's going to be hard to kind of replace it quickly. That's what I feel the same is for the EU at the moment, and it's 25% of oil imports versus 3% for the US. So we have the ability to just go, hey, no more, we're done. But the EU is taking it probably in a smarter approach where they're gradually cutting it off, but they still need the time frame to kind of find other options. With all of that being said, the US will start to ramp up its production of oil in its own ways, and they are looking to make deals with other countries, specifically Venezuela and Iran. Apparently they are heavily sanctioned nations, and we could find a way to kind of cover that 3% to bring in oil and bring prices back down to normal. The thing that it says here, though, that I'm curious about is that a new Iran nuclear deal could be agreed to shortly, which I'm not entirely sure of what that means per se, because I don't know what nuclear has to do with oil, but that's just me. I don't know how the two correlate. I would think nuclear is nuclear and oil is oil, but I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments about that one, and if you know the difference or what the deal means, let me know, and we can go from there. In less overall political news, Apple had its first event of the year releasing some new products. These include a new iPad Air, a Mac Studio desktop, it's basically replacing the Mac Mini, but not at the same time. It's like a new and improved one. It basically looks like a Mac Mini, but like stretched higher. Or you can think of it maybe like an Apple TV box, but even higher than that. Alongside the Mac Studio, there is a new 27-inch monitor that they're selling for $1,599. I don't have much to say on that one. I don't know monitors very well. So if you're interested in monitors, take a look at what they have to offer. And they have a new iPhone SE 3rd generation starting at $429. That one looked appealing. I was going to trade in my 12 mini for it because the speakers are kind of tinny on there. And I heard they were offering 5G support on the new SE. But then after I looked at it, it's actually a severe downgrade over the 12 mini in terms of cellular connectivity, because on the 12 mini, you get the full spectrum of 5G support. While on the 3rd gen SE, you just get the base level of 5G and like the subpar version of LTE as well. So I was basically thinking, I could trade in my 12 mini and get this new one. P.S. I got my 12 mini for like $320 on eBay. So when you see me say I'm thinking about trading it in, a $600 phone for a $430 phone, that's why. I got it for insanely cheap. So I think what I'm going to do is stick to my 12 mini and just deal with the speakers for now. And then whenever the 14s come out, I'll just upgrade then. Some cool Apple TV news. They struck a deal with the baseball league to air Friday night regular season games in like this cool dramatic like movie style format from what I saw. And that looked really cool. And it's going to definitely bring some excitement to baseball to those that normally don't watch it. Or for someone like me who I would just watch baseball and they would be like a general view of the field. And then whenever something happened, they would zoom in and whatnot. But this looked really good. It looked like I was kind of watching like a movie, and I wonder how they're going to edit it so it's more than just a regular baseball live stream. Slightly less exciting news, the 13 and 13 Pro are getting like a new army green color, basically, and that's pretty much the Apple event. Now, here's an interesting one that it kind of took me by surprise. Apparently, most Russians support the war in Ukraine. 58% of Russian people apparently approve of the war. And that came as a big shock. I've been seeing online that most Russians are like, we don't want this, but apparently a large majority do. Now, these numbers don't make total sense to me because it says 58% approve and 23% oppose it. Where's the remaining amount there? You know what I mean? That doesn't equal 100%. So I don't know how they are tallying these results. But it is kind of nice to know that people aged 18 to 24 in the country, apparently 39% oppose it and 29% are for it, meaning that the younger generation in Russia are kind of saying, no, we don't want this, but the older generation is. It kind of came as a surprise to me. I did not expect that majority of people are for the war. In general, most people I know here they don't want it. They don't want anything to do with people dying. And I don't want anything to do with people dying either. So that comes as a surprise. I don't know why, but there are the numbers. Make of it what you will. Now, this one is really interesting. So this one's titled Americana Heads for the Russian Exits. And apparently, some really popular brands are leaving Russia. So Starbucks, Coca-Cola, and McDonald's are all just saying peace, and they're leaving Russia, which is insane to think about. Oh man, just think about if you are against this war in Russia and then suddenly your entire way of life is just changed completely because of a decision that you didn't make. And it was kind of forced on you by someone that just chose to do something, aka President Vladimir Putin. Think about that. Just think about, oh man, that has to hurt. And I'm putting myself in the position of a regular person over there that is not for this war, and just seeing everything just kind of say, we're going to leave and stop doing business with you, even though the general citizen doesn't have anything to do with this. I suppose 58% of them do, but either way, this was a surprise. Apparently 9% of McDonald's global revenue comes from the country, so they're going to lose that entirely. They are choosing to lose 9% of their entire global revenue, which is not a very easy choice to make. And the part that I liked too is that it'll continue to pay the salaries of their 62,000 workers in the country, even though they're not working, which I find very good of McDonald's, which I figure is a possibility because they make so much more money over the globe that they can do that, where if they shut down an entire country's workforce, they can continue to pay those workers if they're not working. Now, that does also bring up the fact that they have all of this extra stored money in their piggy bank that they could also pay all of their workers more if they wanted to. So that's just something to think about, because you know that Big Daddy McDonald's is rubbing his grubby hands together, making all the profits, and the low end worker is not entirely making that much money. So in terms of Coca-Cola, apparently Russia is not that important, and apparently Pepsi has more of an impact on the country than Coca-Cola does, but it's still kind of interesting to see them pull out just kind of along with the other two. And that is going to do it for March 9th's Morning Brew. I really hope you all enjoyed this. We had some pretty spicy stories today, and it was a lot of fun reading them. So I hope you all are enjoying the new format as well. I really like doing this a lot better than just reading the words off of the screen. I like talking, and I like talking to you guys and asking questions and getting your feedback in the comments about the stories that are being presented here. Either way, please, if you enjoy these or this series, go ahead and sign up on morningbrew.com. It is completely free, and you can get the rest of the stories that I don't cover here in your email inbox every morning. All right, thank you guys for joining, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.